Yeah, that's it. And I think a lot of vendors sometimes think, oh, well, I'm selling it, so what's the point?
Yeah.
And whoever's going to be coming in here, they'll do this, and this anyway. But that's not the way to sell your house.
Hey guys, it's Matt Haycox here, and welcome to another episode of the Matt Haycox Show. And today we're going to be talking property. I've got two property experts with me. I know a lot of you guys, you send me emails, ask me questions about property, always getting asked, how do I get on the property ladder? When's the right time to buy? Particularly of late, is there going to be a crash after the pandemic finishes? Again, as a lot of you know, I've got a lot of exposure to property myself, so it's going to be good for me to pick the brains of these experts, just like it's going to be great for you guys at home to listen. So today I've got with me Tonya and Rea, the property twins. We've got two for the price of one, double trouble in the property world. And the girls started off, at the bottom of the estate agency ladder, worked their way up to working an estate agent, running an estate agent, and then ultimately having their own shops. And they've had their own ones. They've now got one together. They've got their own property portfolios, interest in property. So plenty we can talk about. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thanks for having us.
I'm actually thinking, you're not the first time I've had a double couple. Definitely the first twins. I think it's been at least a year. So breaking the mould for me.
Yes.
So, how did you end up in property? I mean, you've been doing it for what, 10 plus years?
Yeah.
Was it
seems
always
like
a
we've
passion?
been doing it for donkey's years now, doesn't it?
It's been about 13 years really since we've been sort of, heavily focused on property. When we was probably in our early 20s, weren't we, when we first got into property. We both just started off as trainee negotiators in estate agents, a couple of doors down.
Did you both just love property? Or
yeah, we did.
We always loved property. So from children, very, very young on, early on, we loved all the property shows. We was obsessed with them, wasn't we? And we really, really wanted to get into property. For us, we were more than happy to start right at the bottom, work our way up, and just kind of learn everything we needed to learn. So that's exactly what we did. We started right off at the bottom.
For us, wasn't it? And we started off as sort of lettings negotiators really, and worked our way up within the companies that we were in at the time to management, and then soon after that set up our own company. So
what kind of effect do you think those property shows have on the property market? I mean, do you think they kind of make people more interested to get into, let's say, the estate agency side of things, or do you think it makes people more active buyers or investors, or is it just, I guess, light relief viewing?
I think property shows have majorly glamorised the property industry,
and they have a huge impact. I would say,
and there's a huge following, and I think it's made younger generations look at property, how to invest, how to get people want to get on the ladder now. It's like a real trendy thing, isn't it? To get involved in property. So I think those shows get you excited about property.
Yeah, I think when we was younger, there was only really a couple of property shows. We loved them.
They were more interior focused at the time.
Yeah, definitely more interior focused. But now there are so many property shows, every kind of variety that you can think of. So I think there's a much bigger audience, and like Tonya said, that the younger generation are watching these shows now that might not necessarily have been for that generation years ago. And it has a huge impact, I think, on buying.
I mean, tell me, how do you find, let's say, I'm going to talk the differences between the US and the UK here in terms of the financial model. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you know how it works over there. I guess you've not worked over there, but I've got, experience of both buying and selling on both sides of the Atlantic, and I find that whilst you talk to anyone in the UK and they'll say they have a great shock at the kind of commissions involved in the States, I think it ultimately creates a very different setup with much more with a much slicker system, much more motivated professionals. Because ultimately, I may be oversimplifying it here. You've got the capacity to earn massive money in the US,
absolutely.
Whereas the UK, it's just a race to the bottom for me. Everyone looks at it now and says, why do I even need an estate agent? All I do is bang my property on Rightmove. And again, it is oversimplifying it, because I think what they fail to realise is all of that information is publicly available in the US as well, probably to an even greater degree of information. But I guess, you talk about the glamorization of property on some of these shows, and I guess they're able to glamorize it because, when you're earning, or even if you're splitting 6% commissions on £2, £3, £4 million properties, it's fucking huge money. Whereas in England, if the more expensive the property you're selling, typically the vendor's going, well, I'll pay you less and less because you're doing the same work, whether it's £2 million or 200 grand. I mean, how do you find that, and what kind of changes, if any, do you think could be made to a UK model, to allow people to earn more and then ultimately offer a better service to the customer? Long question,
I think for us, I think we're very big on customer service. So I would say we've always offered the world in terms of a service to our customers, regardless of what we've been paid. But there is something that almost like in the UK, people resent by paying estate agents, they've taken my money for selling my property, this, that, and the other. But we do so much. It's if not more, like you're saying, than the Americans.
And they want to knock, like you were saying, they want to knock you down to the bare minimum. Yeah, which I never fully get, because I think if you're paying someone a decent amount to work for you, you'll probably get a lot more back, and people want to sell that home over that home. For some reason here, we just seem to work on sort of minimum commissions. I mean, we've said it before, haven't we? Like, why did we not go out to America and work?
Amounts, or even Spain, their commission rates are a lot higher. I don't know the exact. I don't know the exact commissions.
It's definitely better than here.
It's a lot better than here. But
I think as well, also in the US, they have the concept, the completely accepted concept of having a selling agent and a buying agent. Whereas over here, it's very rare that you would find someone having someone working on their behalf as a buying agent, and typically, they'd then be on a retainer and all kinds of chunky payments. And I think, well, I guess we've just got that mentality of driving down costs rather than looking at value. I mean, I know, I've actually recently, literally only probably 6 or 7 weeks ago, I still had a property left from when I was living in the States, and I was selling it, and the agent was driving me absolutely mental, to sign paperwork and do this and do the other. And it was, I kind of jest about it because it was, let's say, an annoyance at the time, because it obviously wasn't my primary focus. But no way would I get that same level of dedication from someone in the UK, maybe excluding yourselves, because I guess there's no driver. I mean, this guy literally, is effectively running his own business within a business, and whether it's 8 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock at night, he'll email me, then he'll WhatsApp me, text me, and bloody ring me, saying, have you got all these things? It's like, mate, leave me alone. But he's ultimately he's doing the best for me, but he's doing it because he's motivated, because he's got a very chunky 5-figure commission to receive.
I think it depends on the individual as well, what your self pride is like. We want to sell, we want to succeed, we want to, we want to seal the deal, don't we? And I think if you've not got that in you anyway, then maybe you wouldn't be like that as an estate agent. But that's exactly.
I think as well, going back to the difference in salaries. When I owned my own estate agents, I was very much like, I owned the business, so I wanted the deal to go through. So I would stay in the office until 10, 11 o'clock at night. My negotiator, on the other hand, that's earning 20 grand a year, wants to be out the door at 5 o'clock, rightly so, but there's only so much that the owner of an estate agent can pay their negotiators, because
there's a cap.
We don't get enough commission to sell them in the first place. So it's a tricky one, isn't it? But I mean, for us, we are very much like that, where we want the deal to go through and probably maybe go above and beyond what we're being paid, I guess, sometimes.
I think here as well, we've got a lot of people wanting to be their own estate agents.
Yes.
They want to be the agent. They'll go using the online platforms to sell their homes, cut the agent out the deal because they think that's better. Obviously, in my opinion, it's not. And I'll always say to people, the online property agents, there's the personal service has gone out the window. There's no one to talk to, no one to see the deal through. But I do think there's a lot of people wanting to do it themselves to save money.
Would you always advocate for using an established agent in your local area?
Absolutely.
Always. I just think they've got the knowledge, the experience. they're there answering the phone, and that's the main thing. You know, they're not sort of an automated service or a call centre generating viewing leads.
Useless viewing leads a lot of the time as well, because you know, if it's a local agent, they know that, for instance, there's a school on that road. So if a family calls up looking for a property that's got a school within walking distance, they can match that up very quickly. Somebody that is online that's up in Manchester, for instance, isn't going to know what school is on the road in your local area. You know,
all
so
they're really doing is pushing the
knowledge.
Inquiries through. But as Rea said, you get a lot of you know, time wasting, because they're not vetting the people that come through. You know, that's the key thing as well. You could get a load of viewings through. You've wasted 3 weeks with people that can't afford your home or haven't got mortgages or agreements in principle. So an estate agent, as a person with the experience, would do all of those checks first, and also, you know, sell your home, not just generate a viewing lead.
Okay. So have you been affected during COVID? Both in terms of, I guess, being able to operate the business, and what have you seen, particularly in your locale, happen with property prices?
We've been quite lucky with COVID in our area, in our business. I have a garden design company. Our business went kind of off the roof, if you like, during COVID, because everybody started doing stuff in their homes and gardens. Tonya, you didn't find the property really changed, did it?
Too much. I mean, we did have to put people on hold that hadn't exchanged or hadn't signed tenancy agreements. There was about a few weeks where we had to almost freeze, shut down. But as soon as we lifted that, the phones just went off the roof, and then the stamp duty cut came in as well, which really boosted sales. So coronavirus, as much as it's been a pain to a lot of people, it hasn't affected either of our businesses really at all.
I think I'd agree with your summary there. I mean, my experience of property, you know, during the last kind of 7, 8, 9 months has really been just more that there was a pause put on things during March, April, May. You know, yes, there's a lot of talk about this impending crash. I mean, I'm not saying it's not coming. I think ultimately it will have to come. Because you know, maybe that's going to be localised to certain geographies, but undoubtedly, you know, when the effects of the end of furlough and the repayment of bounce backs and you know, some of the liquidations and administrations of businesses which have just been kicked down the road, when that kicks in, there's going to have to be pain. But yeah, but in the meantime, I mean, I'm involved in a business for quick sale property. You know, sell your house in 3 days, 5 days. And at the very beginning, there was a lot of perception that pricing would go down. And yes, in theory, the prices were down, but then you couldn't transact anyway. So the price was just almost irrelevant. And as soon as you could transact again, you know, I say the price went back up. It never really went down. It never really went down. It kind of went down in people's heads, but then you couldn't transact at that price anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's been interesting how resilient, if not buoyant, things have been. But you know,
absolutely. I mean, so far so good.
Don't count your chickens just yet.
No, I think there'll be like you said, there's going to be a dip, isn't there?
Yeah, because it can't continue, you know, on the level that it's on at the moment. It's just like you said, through the roof. Hopefully it'll just be a little dip and it, you know, bounces back up after the new year. But as you say, now where furlough's just ended, things might sort of shift slightly. It's been all really positive since we've been back, and everything's selling, and we've had lots of people put their property on the market sooner maybe than they were planning on doing so because of the stamp duty cut, you know, trying to get the best price they can. So it's just been really, really positive. You know, maybe a little dips around the corner, but I hopefully don't think it will be something that lasts too long.
Now, undoubtedly, you must have seen some absolute states of properties that you know that people have been asking you to represent over the years. Which, and it's funny. I mean, I see some stuff. I'm sure you guys do. That you actually think, never mind how would someone leave the property like that to sell. You know, how did they even live in it in the first place? But I know we were talking a little bit earlier about some of your top tips to actually maximise your property. Well, maximise the value of your property and get more for it than it's potentially worth now. And we were talking about your 5 top tips to spend less than $1,000 and get at least a 10 grand payback when you sell your property. So I'm sure the guys listening and watching would love to hear this. So fire away.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that much to do really to do that. You know, there's a few things you can do that don't cost anything. One of those is cleaning. You know, that's a big thing. When you walk into somebody's home and it's dirty, you automatically have your back up a little bit as a viewer. You don't feel comfortable. You want to feel like you can move into that home, and that's really, really off-putting, isn't it?
Yeah,
and the clutter.
Yes,
definitely
the clutter
is the
for
two.
me is a big thing, decluttering. So it's just about depersonalising your space. You'll love it. Everyone loves their own home, but clutter, it can really, really, it's sometimes hard for the viewers to visualise if there's too much going on.
Too much clutter, and
that's
also a
big thing.
build-up of furniture, which can make a home look a lot smaller than it is at times, make it awkward to actually view and flow on the viewing. You know, that's just a quick fix, isn't it? Cleaning and decluttering is easy to do. It doesn't cost anything.
No, and we always say drive into your home. So, you know, take a drive down your road and kind of drive in and have a look at it
As if you were the viewer.
externally.
Yep.
As the viewer, because first impressions are a huge deal, aren't they? So, you know, 9 times out of 10 you can kind of tell whether you're going to like a house from the outside. So just have a look at it from the outside and just see what you can do to improve. They're all little tweaks, aren't they? So yeah, cleaning, decluttering, externally, front and back, lick of paint if you need to.
Actually,
And
5 things really
Yeah.
that would put it, you know, ahead of the competition.
But I guess, you know, to me, what's interesting from it all is it's all just such simple things.
so simple.
Really, really simple.
That so often get neglected, and I think, you know, it's just important to understand as a vendor that very few people have any vision really, and they can't, you know, they can't visualise an empty space full. You know, they can't visualise it without your clutter in there. If you've got a dodgy coloured wall, you know, it's easy for us to think, yeah, white there, this, that, and the other. But yeah, it's so hard for most purchasers to think like that. So I guess make everyone's life as simple as possible.
Yeah, that's it. And I think a lot of vendors sometimes think, oh well, I'm selling it, so what's the point?
I don't want to
And
spend that
whoever's
money.
going to be coming in here, they'll do this, and this anyway. But that's not the way to sell your house.
So what's next for the property twins? It's been I guess a fantastic story in a relatively short space of time. What more are we going to see?
We've had lots of fun, haven't we, along the way?
I mean, we've only come together in terms of, you know, working together on property the last couple of years, really. We had our own companies and our own sort of property that we worked on separately.
Was that a surprise? I mean, did you not expect to work together sooner?
I just really wish, looking back, I mean, people always say, do you have any regrets? Being twins, where, you know, you obviously, you do have a bit of competitiveness. And I think looking back now, if we'd been a bit older and a bit more mature, we probably would have opened together and
if we'd known what we
I
knew
think we could have
now,
really kicked ass if we had. But yeah, maybe we wouldn't have kind of had our individual businesses. I wish we'd probably come together sooner, because now it's so much more enjoyable. And it is very stressful when you're on your own, and, you know, 2 heads are always better than one. We bounce off of each other quite well, don't we? So,
and together, between the two of us, we kind of cover all areas. You know, Rea's got a little bit more sales focus.
Yes.
I'm, you know, heavily involved in lettings and, you know, buy to let properties. So between us, we work quite well.
We can't really cover. So yeah, I think it's just a shame that we didn't do it sooner.
But we, you know, we've had a good time. The last couple of years have been really exciting. We've done quite a lot together. We're currently talking to sort of a few production companies about possible TV work, which is a complete new sort of new area for us.
But yeah,
it's really
stuff.
exciting.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to watching more and sharing your journey with you in the future. For the guys listening and watching, where can they find you? How can they track you down and learn more of your top tips, or maybe use you if they've got a property to buy or sell?
Yeah, we do a lot of our stuff on Instagram, so you can follow us at Official Property Twins, and we tend to put our whole property journey on there. So that's
links
the
to
place
all of
to
our
go to.
other businesses are on that, and our website as well, which is officialpropertytwins.com.
Perfect. Well, guys, make sure you follow them, and if you've got any property questions or any houses in Essex to sell, these are the girls to do it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for watching or listening. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, if you've liked it, make sure you do like it, press subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again in a future episode.